Have you ever poured your heart into training only to get injured right before race day? Or maybe you finally felt like your old self again and then life threw another curveball your way? Yep, me too, I've been there. In this video, we're diving deep into one of the toughest parts of being a trail and ultra runner, the emotional side of setbacks. Whether it's missing a race, falling short of your goal, or questioning if this sport is even for you anymore. The mental and emotional toll can be brutal. And I'm not just talking in theory. I'll be sharing my own experience of missing the start line of the Buffalo 100 kilometre, a race I'd been building towards for months, only to be sidelined by injury. It was a tough pill to swallow, and I want to talk and walk you through how I process that disappointment, mentally, emotionally, and psychologically. But this isn't just about staying positive, it's about learning how to work with your mind, not against it, so you can process disappointment in a real, honest way and come out stronger on the other side. I'm going to share key mindset tools and psychological strategies that have helped me and the athletes I work with navigate these low points. We're going to talk about mindset flexibility, narrative awareness, and how to make sense of setbacks in a way that fuels growth, not frustration. If you've ever struggled with self-doubt, frustration, or feeling like you've wasted your time after a race didn't go to plan, then this one's for you. Stick around, this might just shift how you think about challenge, adversity, and what it really means to keep showing up. I'd probably one of the best training blocks leading up to the Buffalo 100K, a race I was really excited about. I've never been to Bright before, and I was stoked to get an opportunity to go and suffer in a beautiful place. Then, 3 weeks out, I strained my soleus. And I tried everything to get back to that race, with a couple of test runs in the week leading up to the race, only resulted in further injury. I did contemplate trying to hike the 100K, but with 5,000 metres of elevation, that wasn't in my body's best interest, and had to make the decision to withdraw from the race before it even started. And there, cue all the emotions that come with the sadness, the disappointment, and the frustration of not being able to participate and do something you work so hard for and something that you love. We take a risk when we try. We risk not achieving the goal. We risk failing. We risk being hurt, being disappointed. We risk feeling as if we've wasted our energy, training, and time invested. But really, what is the other option? To not try, to not risk anything? I struggle to accept that option, as I imagine most of you watching would too. When it's put like that, I have a visceral response to my gut that is far worse than the potential failure. This requires some vulnerability, some uncertainty, but at least we have some skin in the game. The struggle and challenge gives us a sense of purpose and direction. And when we take a shot at something, we learn and grow from the process of pursuing the dream, the goal. When I remind myself of this, it makes the disappointment of not getting to the start line a tiny little bit more palatable. Psychologically, what we're doing when we remind ourselves of this are two things. We first zoom out and get a bigger perspective on our situation. The training we put in isn't completely wasted or lost. There will also be other races in the future. Second, we remind ourselves that we do actually enjoy the process. We enjoy the training, we enjoy getting out for a run, and whilst we didn't get to celebrate all that training and hard work on race day, we still had plenty of adventures and fun along the way. One key skill is mindset flexibility, and that is crucial in this regard. And a lack of flexibility is what often leads us to really struggle psychologically, especially when things don't go to plan, which is pretty much guaranteed in our sport. Let me provide an example to showcase what this mindset flexibility looks like. When training for an event, to get the absolute most out of ourselves, we need to make the event bigger. We need to mentally increase its significance and importance in our life. Some events, this happens naturally. Think Olympic Games, Western States, Hard Rock. These big pinnacle events already come with lots of significance. However, compared to our local race, just down the road, we might need to work harder to really get ourselves up and about for that goal. And we do this by personalising some challenge within that race and what the race means to us. Now, Michael Jordan is probably the poster boy for being able to do it. He was an expert and able to increase his arousal level for certain games. And he would do this by taking the smallest slight from an opposition player and making it personal. He would lock in on that and make it his personal mission to teach them a lesson for some slight that they probably weren't half aware of half the time, but it was all in his own mind, the story that he created. And it was very effective, extreme, but effective. When we do this, we lock in. We really switch on to the event, our motivation increases, and we put more into the event and thus raise our level of performance. Our perspective narrows, we get tunnel vision and really zoom in, helping us dial in our focus. This is helpful until it's not. The catch is that if a problem arises and we don't have the flexible mindset to shift, we fall into traps, we get tangled up and tie ourselves in knots. For example, we get injured, maybe a race gets cancelled, or we just have a poor performance. It's going to be devastating, perhaps irrationally so. But that small local running event you put so much emphasis on, now that it's gone pear-shaped, our emotional reaction becomes unhelpful and disproportionate to the context of the event. This is when we need to be flexible and able to shift perspective and zoom out again. We need to be able to put the event and the situation back into a more realistic perspective. It's this flexibility and mindset that can help us both elevate our performance and manage setbacks. It's when we lack the ability to shift and bend with change in circumstances that many athletes begin to really struggle. We can work on that flexibility by recognizing the benefits and the costs to that approach and asking ourselves what's most helpful in this situation, and then trying to swivel and change as the context changes. Now this leads me on to the next helpful approach. Understand this, our minds are meaning-making machines. They constantly interpreting our experiences, especially under stress or discomfort. Like in the middle of a brutal climb or a low point deep into an ultra, the brain doesn't just record what's happening, it assigns meaning to it, and that meaning becomes a story we tell ourselves. And here's the key, we can choose the narrative. The power lies in awareness. Step back and ask, what story am I telling myself right now? Is it helpful? Is it pushing me forward or holding me back? Often it's not the experience itself that derails us, it's the meaning we attach to it. That hill doesn't mean you're weak. That fatigue doesn't mean you're failing. Those are just interpretations. Instead, you can choose to see them as signs of progress, moments of growth, evidence that you're doing something hard and worth doing. When you become aware of your internal story, you unlock the ability to reshape it, to reframe struggle as strength building, to view setbacks as setups for comebacks, to integrate a new narrative that's not just positive, but deeply meaningful and motivating. The Buffalo setback for me was a tough pill to swallow. And it's probably fair to say that I've had a bit of a rough patch over the last 2 years. I've had long COVID and really starting from scratch again. I never thought getting back fitness would be so hard. It took a long time. And really it was only leading into Buffalo that I felt like my old self. I felt like some of my old fitness was coming back. And then to cop an injury so close to being able to get out there and enjoy a race again. In that time, I've had a few close people to me question if and suggest that maybe longer events aren't suited to me. Perhaps my body isn't even suited to run. You're 43 and not getting any younger. Should you start to look for other avenues to explore? And I could choose to hold on to those narratives, but I'm not going to because I don't believe or feel that is my story or my reality. I'm going to reassess my approach and reload and write a different chapter because I choose to make sense of this situation by understanding the lessons and moving forward in an optimistic and positive direction. That's the meaning I'm choosing to assign to my current situation. This is not about lying to yourself. It's about choosing a perspective that serves you rather than sabotages you. Awareness is the first step. Taking ownership of your narrative is the next. And meaning is the fuel that keeps you going when adversity strikes. Okay, so here's the truth. I've given you a few strategies that you can apply to help you through really difficult situations where they're disappointing. But no reframe, fresh perspective, or bit of psychological judo will erase the sting of missing a race, expected setback. It hurts, it sucks, and that's okay. Don't fight that feeling. Instead, feel it. Disappointment is part of the process. It's running, it's part of life. To pretend otherwise is to deny the very thing that makes this sport real and meaningful. In fact, we could argue that if there wasn't the risk of failure or the possibility of hurt and heartbreak, the whole thing would lose its magic. What makes chasing big goals compelling is that they matter, and things that matter come with full spectrum of emotions. It's the adversity, the struggle that gives trail running its depth. The lows make the highs sweeter, the setbacks make the breakthroughs richer, and every tough moment you face adds to the story you're building, both as a runner and a human being. We'll experience disappointment if we're doing life right. It's a guarantee. Give yourself permission to feel the uncomfortable emotions. Don't fight them. That will only make this process harder. It might be helpful, especially if you're someone that tends to dwell or set a time limit for feeling disappointment. 24, 48 hours max maybe. Then make a conscious decision to move on and start moving forward. When you do this, you won't magically be the end of your low feelings. When they do come up, just feel them as they come up. You'll likely notice that when you do this, feel them, they will likely only last a few seconds or minutes. When I was at Buffalo watching everyone run, especially when everyone was deep in the hurt locker in the later stages of the race, suffering. I just wanted to be able to trade places with them. They'd earned that suffering and privilege to challenge themselves in that situation from all the kilometers and the hours they'd put in leading up to that moment. And I just wanted some of that. I was envious and sad. I couldn't experience that. So instead of fighting that, I just acknowledged those emotions and accepted them and allowed myself to feel them. It wasn't particularly pleasant, but it was rich and part of the deeper tapestry that of our emotional makeup, and it kind of helped me connect to the race a little bit. I didn't hold on to them, I just let them come and go. And usually within 30 seconds or a minute, I was distracted by something else, crewing someone or some other positive event, and was off over on that tangent. When you don't fight it, that is more often the case. Our emotions, don't fear them, they're nothing to be feared, they come and go. So the key here is that the approaches we've covered today won't erase the pain, but they will help ease it and help you navigate adversity in a more meaningful and helpful manner. If you found this helpful, please subscribe to my channel, it does help out a lot. You can access my free 8-week mindset course from the link below. And thanks for watching, and see you out in the trails.